Yes, the recording is now on. So welcome. Did you know that we are in Module 4, Relationship Building? Hi, Alexis. How are you doing? If you ever have any questions, please reach out to me. I visit our class several times a day. Also, you can see my phone number. That is a landline. So if you ever need to talk to me, please call me. Your success is my success. Today, we're going to look at the Module 4 content. Then we're going to focus in on Deliverable 4. Deliverable 4 has two parts. Part 1, you create a detailed agenda for the day. And Part 2, you'll summarize the events that you will present during the fun agenda. You won't actually present them or do anything like that, but you will be creating a summary of what actions you'll take. The goal of the meeting is to cultivate fair, respectful, and equitable treatment, opportunities, and outcomes for others and oneself. During the event, we ask you to use different types of events, including training courses, diversity awareness exercises, team building activities, employee motivation, and selecting and sharing sales tools for understanding and communicating. I always encourage you to read the content that's inside our course. After you've had a chance to look at the information, watch this PowerPoint. Put the two of them together. And my goal is to help you succeed in writing your Module 4 assignment. So what does Deliverable 4 require? This time, I encourage you to read the scenario. It lays out everything we have to do. So the HR director at your organization has noticed that many of the business development representatives, or the BDRs, and sales team representatives do not know each other or appreciate one another's diversity. We have a failure to communicate between the BDRs and the sales team representatives. Now, you are the acting lead BDR, and since that's your role, the HR director has asked you to develop the schedule. We want it to be fun. The main objectives for the event is to ensure all participants know how to cultivate fair, respectful, and equitable treatment, opportunities, and outcomes for others and oneself. In order to create this event, we need a detailed agenda for the day. Perhaps you will think that it might be important to share the agenda with all the BDRs and sales team representatives. You have to summarize the events and activities that you plan to hold during the fun event. And you should identify at least 3 sales tools your sales team might use to bridge the gap of understanding and communicating between the BDRs and sales team. And here's another key thing. At the end of the day, schedule a 30-minute wrap-up and sharing session. So let's look at this. We're going to have a fun event. It's going to run from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're allowed 2 15-minute breaks from 8 a.m. to noon. Then we'll break for an hour lunch. When we return, we'll have 2 additional 15-minute breaks between the time we return and the end of the day. At the very end, between 3:30 and 4, we'll hold a wrap-up and sharing session. So there's a few restrictions you have to plan for. So factor the 2 15-minute breaks in the morning and the 2 15-minute breaks in the afternoon. Schedule your lunch break, which is 1 hour long, the 30-minute wrap-up session at the end, which will go from 3:30 to 4. Assignment. Write a 2 to 3 page proposal about the team building retreat. Now, when we say 2 to 3 pages, we mean at least 2 full pages using APA formatting, which is 1 inch on the top, 1 inch on the bottom, and 1 inch margins on the left and the right. Additionally, you should have headings in your paper. Headings are aligned left, bold print, 3 to 5 words. Why do we use headings? Perhaps it's the same reason why you take a trip and you use a map. Whether it be digital or or paper, you have a map. You know where you're going. Your plan should include a list of the planned events, the start times and end times, the wrap-up session, a summary of each activity, and we must select fun events that address all our goals, which will be fairness, respect, equitable treatment, opportunities, and outcomes. Now, we don't have to address all those goals for every event. You can address them one by one. You could address a couple at the same time. It's your call. Your goal is to make it fun. Identify at least, I keep stressing that word, at least, and why. In a second, you'll see the grading rubric and it will make more sense. But at least 3 sales tools. All right, here's our grading rubric. I always encourage you to look at the mastery column. I want you to earn an A. So number 1, thoroughly listed the plan events showing the scheduled time for each, including the start and end times. Number 2, thoroughly summarized each activity, each of the 5 goals, cultivating fairness, respect, equitable treatment, opportunities, and outcomes for others and oneself. All these goals must be addressed at least one time. They can be addressed more than once, but they have to be addressed at least one time. Number 3, thoroughly identified more than, see that word, that phrase, more than 3 sales tools. So that's why we kept saying at least. Well, to earn an A on this assignment, you must identify more than 3 sales tools. And finally, number 4, include 2 or more professional resources. APA, remember Rasmussen University has that wonderful APA site in their online library. I encourage you to always review it. As many papers as I have written, I always double check my APA formatting. Watch your grammar, your spelling, and punctuation. Try to avoid grammatical errors. Why? Because if a person looks at that, they're not going to get interested once they start finding several errors on your paper or your flyer or your letter. So please get in the habit of always double checking. And there it is as a reminder, more than 3 sales tools. Remember, you have 3 attempts to complete each module assignment. But why not do it the right way the first time so you don't have to try to redo something? If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I get excited when you ask questions. All right, so we know we're doing 2 parts. We're creating a detailed agenda and we're summarizing the events. We have time restrictions. We have to factor in when we start, when we end, how many breaks we take, how long they are, what about our lunch break, when does it happen? And don't forget the 30-minute wrap-up session at the end. Everything has to conclude at 4 p.m. Why? Because if we keep employees past the end of the day, we have to pay overtime. And we would really not be happy if we had to do that. So please watch your time. And you can see the list of types of activities. Okay, so schedule your time in, grab a sheet of paper, pencil it in, figure out where our breaks have to occur, and then start thinking about how long each activity will last. Factor that in, take a step back, look at your agenda. Have you met all the restrictions? Have you identified the types of activities you'll offer? Have you noted how long they last? How's your schedule? Are we on track? And then we need to summarize the events. We know we have several different types of events we want to present. So for each type of event, give us a summary of it. What, 3 to 5 sentences? Doesn't have to be full pages, just a short description, just so everybody knows what the event will focus on. Also, since we have to make sure we meet all the goals, put the goal at the top of your summary for each event. That will help me determine if you have achieved all the required objectives. Have you ever made an APA table? I've got a couple of slides that I'll show you what it should look like. Because remember, we have to use APA formatting. So let's break it down. We've got the events, we have the start time, we have the end time. Okay, here's something else. Look at the different parts of this table. We have table 1, left align, bold. Then we do the title of the table. Then we're coming down to the headings. You can see that they should be centered across the columns. Also, notice the borders or the lines. You have two at the top, one at the bottom of the table. And right after the bottom border, you put your note if it applies. First column is left aligned. All other columns are centered. Do you have any questions about that? Found this video? Hopefully it will help. If you've never created an APA formatted table, I'll make sure you have a link to this recording. Some additional sources for creating an APA 7th edition table. Now, I'm going to be sharing several resources with you. I'll put this information in several course announcements, and they will be there shortly after we conclude this meeting. So take a look. Go into course announcements. That's also where you'll find a copy of this recording. All right, training courses. Do you know where to go to get some training courses? Now, I'm going to share several possible sites with you. That does not mean you have to use them. I'm just trying to get things moving along. If you find something better than I find, I'll be anxious to use your resources for future classes. So possible training courses. Did you know companies willing to invest in sales training are 57% more effective than rival companies that make no such investments? Hopefully that causes you to stop and think. Free online sales courses. Maybe you'll find something there that relates to the objectives of this fun event. I like the word free. 9 free online classes for managers who care about diversity and inclusion. Another site, you can see the list of free courses. Now, when I created this presentation, the links I'm sharing with you were all active, so I hope they're still available. You know how the webmasters can move things around? So I can't count 100% on the reliability of those links, but I will share them with you. About diversity. Diversity awareness exercises. These are just some possible sites that might help you. Don't feel restricted to just these. Use the ones that you like and you want to use. All right, now we have to say something about equality and equity. The first thing I'd like you to do is look at the picture. What's different between the equality picture and the equity picture? Equality seeks to provide all employees with access to the same resources, regardless of the pre-existing barriers they may face. So that's equality. So let's look at the picture on the left. They are equal. All the boxes are the same height. People are not the same height, but all the resources we provided are equal. Now look at equity. Equity is distinct from equality. in that it doesn't provide the same resources and opportunities to everyone. With equity, an organization will recognize that each employee has varying access to resources and privileges, and those with less access may need more support in order to take fair advantage of opportunities within a given company. So look at the equity picture. What's different from the equality picture? Look at the stacks of boxes. The tall person doesn't need a box. He can easily see over the fence. Now we'll look at the middle person. Okay, he has one box. But that little guy, look in the first picture, he can't see over the fence. So we're going to give him more resources. And we did. We borrowed the box from the tall person and gave it to the little person. And now if you look, you can see everybody can see over the fence. About some team building exercises. Now I'm going to share this video with you. The 4 types of team members you can hire. So that will be a video that you will see in a course announcement. Some team building sites. "50 best team building activities for collaboration." So now what I'm doing, I'm not just choosing any type of activity, but I kept the goal in mind. And then I started finding sites that related to the goals we're trying to achieve. In that article, you're going to find 4 things. How important is teamwork? What is team building? Why team building? And the best 25 team building activities. Now, why would we care about information like that? Well, you're trying to have people have fun at your fun event. And they may wonder, why are we doing this activity? Well, by getting a little bit of reading background, you'll be able to shortly explain why we do what we do. Just give them a little introduction to the activity. Another site, team building. I like this one. The 50 team building games that your employees would love to play. I like that. Employee motivation is another area we're supposed to address. Some sites that you might want to look at. And steps to improve employee motivation, starting on the left. Enable autonomy. Recognize effort and achievement. Be positive. Encourage employees to embrace failure. Encourage communication. Recognize effort and achievement. Have you ever won any employee awards? If so, how did that make you feel? Okay, now let's go down a little bit further. Encourage employees to embrace failure. Why would we want them to fail? Because oftentimes you learn more from your mistakes than if you did everything right. It's like sending out a survey and everybody rates you real high. Well, that's nice. That's a good feeling. But if somebody else adds a comment as to how you might improve, that really makes a difference. 499 employee engagement ideas. Another article, Why We Love Employee Engagement Activities, and You Should Too. In this article, the 4 points will be addressed. 10 reasons why you should invest in employee engagement activities. Second one, 5 quick and easy examples of employee engagement activities. You know, when I see that quick and easy, I know the clock is ticking. I have to make sure we end at 3:30 so we can have the wrap-up session. But if these are quick, maybe we could have more than one activity. Third one, 5 remarkable simple tips for incorporating employee engagement activities. And finally, here's why we love employee engagement activities. Maybe you will find that article helpful. Another one, 36 freakish effective ways to motivate employees in 2025. Okay, now don't forget, summarize each activity, including writing SMART goals, which are measurable goals and objectives for each event. Have you ever heard the acronym SMART? It means specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. Some sources to learn more about SMART goals. A video. Sometimes they use different words. By the time you're done, you know you have written SMART goals. Some people think you're supposed to break each one down to a separate sentence. But in reality, we want that one sentence to be all-encompassing. We want it to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic or relevant, and timely or time-bound. Address all those elements in one sentence. Here's an example. We have a family SMART goal and a family not so smart goal. Let's first look at the family SMART goal. As a family, we will walk 1 lap around the elementary school playground every Monday through Thursday after school for 1 month. And then you consider, does that sentence address all the elements of a SMART goal? Is it specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based? So let's look at the response. Is it specific? Yes. The goal is clearly defined. Is it measurable? Yes. It answers the question, how much or how many? Is it attainable? Yes. It's realistic and achievable. Is it relevant? Yes. It's worthwhile to our family. And finally, is it time-based? Yes. There's a target date for when the goal will be accomplished. So we took all the elements of a SMART goal and put them into one sentence. Now look at the other one, family not so SMART goal. As a family, we will make more time to be physically active. Well, is that specific? No, it doesn't really tell us what we'll do. Is it measurable? No, I don't have anything to count. Is it attainable? Who knows? Is it relevant? Who knows? Is it time-based? Do you see any time period in there? No. So focus on the family SMART goal. Make it specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. Another handout that walks you through writing SMART goals. Some tools. Remember, we need 3 or more tools. Possible things you might check out. It looks like we're starting to run out of time a little bit. So I'm going to go quickly through this. Okay. I like this one, best free sales tools. The word free. How's your company doing financially? You want to have a fun event, but you want to watch the bottom line too. Perhaps you are aware of some of these conferencing platforms. I've never used that Jitsi, but I've used all the others. And now we move to our review. We talked about making sure we go inside our course and look at the content. Then I discussed the deliverable 4 with you, highlighting all the key things, reminding you how to create an APA table, your schedule, making sure it works, what you have to do, what are the goals, and then I've shared some sites to different types of events. Keep in mind, you can use any site you prefer. So at this point, I would ask you if you had any questions. When you do, please reach out to me. There are no dumb questions. The only dumb question, you know the answer, is the one you don't ask. Thank you, and I'll get this out to you as soon as possible.